This bike is the Norco Optic, recently redesigned and riding great. Over the past few months, I've had the chance to get comfortable on this bike, so today we'll go over how it stacks up against competitors and my overall thoughts. This bike is an Optic C2, which is in the demo fleet at Ride Bicycle's bike shop. If you live outside of Washington and are planning a trip, or you're just curious to ride new rigs, you can visit ridebicycles.com for any booking. The Norco Optic was redesigned for 2021 with a more modern design. I'm a huge fan of the long, sleek frame visual, but let's talk about geometry. The Optic only comes in 29-inch wheel sizes, the one I tested being a medium. With my new sight, it did feel a little on the smaller side, but I know this was an appropriate size for my riding style. The reach length is the distance you reach to the handlebars and varies greatly among trail bikes. The medium Optic has a reach of 450 millimeters, a tad on the long end. This reach makes the bike feel like a nice mix between playful and stable at higher speeds, which is evident in the tests we'll do. The head tube angle on this bike measures 65 degrees. Head tube angle is measured from the horizontal to the front fork, a common misconception. This measurement is pretty much average for a trail bike. Another aspect that's important is the seat tube angle, which the Optic has at 76 degrees. This is very steep and puts riders in a much more efficient climbing position that's comfortable for longer periods of time. Steeper seat tube angles are becoming much more popular with newer bikes. Besides the lack of a climb switch on the shock, the Optic excelled because of this geometry in climbing. The chainstay is another important factor, which is the length of the rear triangle underneath the path of the chain. The medium has a nice short chainstay of only 430 millimeters, which helps make the bike even more playful and easier to flick around the rear. Finally, the medium Optic has a wheelbase of 1196 millimeters, which is dead average and doesn't draw back or make the bike excel. Based on geometry numbers, it's clear Norco wanted to make a bike that's meant for throwing around and being playful, while exceeding expectations on gnarlier trails for a bike with only 125 millimeters of rear travel. This model, being the C2, has some mixed specs for the price of $5,000. The most important is the suspension, which Norco specs with a RockShox Pike Select Plus in the front and a Super Deluxe Ultimate in the rear. Up front, the Pike is nice to have, but I would like to see an Ultimate tier fork on this type of bike, especially with its aggressive trail bike mood. Since the travel ratio is different than most other bikes, the Optic gains a unique feel. The main discovery this led me to was that this bike can feel like a hardtail or a capable all-mountain bike. Just ride the trail and the bike will be best suited for that trail. Moving on to the drivetrain, the entire group set is SRAM GX Eagle. GX offers the most value in the SRAM lineup and is expected on this type of bike. Norco also offers a Shimano version for people that prefer Shimano shifting. The brakes on the Optic are Shimano Dior, and this is the area I feel the spec is lacking. I know it's personal preference, but I do prefer the feel of SRAM brakes. For a bike of this price though, I would at least expect a set of XT brakes, even if it's not SRAM. The brakes just feel okay, if not lacking. We're running Maxxis Assegai tires on this bike because they best fit the terrain in the Pacific Northwest, and these are on Stan's Flow 29-inch rims. I'm very happy to see that everyone's been loving the PNW Rainier dropper, and it's still holding up strong and working like new. The last thing I want to talk about is pedals. Having ridden the new PNW range pedals for a few weeks, I'm addicted to the shape and feel that I had to use my own pedals. You can follow the link to support me and grab some of these awesome pedals for yourself. Alright, so we are going up Tiger Mountain right now. Massive vertical mountain near us. We're going to test out this Norco Optic on a few different trails. Tiger is known for its long, fun, and as of recently, fast, flowy trails down the mountainside. However, people are deterred by the 1-hour climb to the top, which takes even longer for some people. Let's head up Masterlink to the top. Both trips up felt pretty good, but I have ridden a few bikes that would outperform the Optic on the uphills. The bike didn't feel like the fastest climber, but I noticed the position was much more comfortable than I was expecting. I was able to push through the entire climb without stopping, which is a challenge for me with my weaker freeride legs. I was very surprised by this bike's efficiency going up Tiger. That said, this thing is not light in weight by any measure. Most other trail bikes will be at least a half a pound to a pound lighter, but that's all because Norco designed this thing for the descents. Let's take it down.
Alright, and here we are, Close Encounters.
Close Encounters is rated double black diamond, or experts only, and was a trail that was added to this network last summer. It's built with a raw, loamy style and is a ton of fun to ride. The first thing I could do once I crashed is to get my bike off the trail to prevent somebody else from coming down hitting into it. This wasn't one of my worst crashes, I just got pretty shaken up from it. There were some cambered roots coming from both directions, and I think I hit my right pedal on the stump. This caused me to go over the bars, flying into the loam. After realizing my backpack strap broke in half, we can continue down the next trail, which should be a little bit easier.
Okay, so now we're gonna ride ET, and this trail is fast, probably what this bike is made for. Yeah, this bike is fun, very fun. Poppy, playful. It's the type of bike where if you see a rock off the side of the trail that you want to launch off of, you can use the bike for it. Like right here.
And into my favorite section.
Corners really nicely too. Going through some of those turns felt really good.
A few months later, I've gotten another chance to ride this bike again when the weather was a little bit drier. We're going to try out the other new flow trail called Side Hustle. After that, I'll tell you my opinions on both.
All right, I'm gonna walk up and do this section again. It's literally hero dirt today. Look at this. It's perfect. And these jumps are just so good. So we gotta hit them again. Oh yeah. Oh.
Both Side Hustle and ET are fast flow trails with jumps mixed in. Norco made the Optic for trails like this, which is very evident in the way it handled. I was extremely confident whipping the rear end around, and the bike overall felt incredibly playful. With Tiger's long climb also comes long descents. The only thing I wasn't a fan of was the brakes. They just started to feel like they were almost about to give in. Everything else was perfect. We've established that this bike is very playful, but how does it feel on bike park style flow trails? Let's take it to Duthie for a Freeride test.
Oh, that lip has gotten ruined. Something happened to that lip. Oh, that was bad.
At Duthie Hill, progression is key. You're almost guaranteed to find a rider who wants to learn something new. This day, I was towing somebody into the last jump on HLC line.
So just make sure that you have enough speed to get over it. It's still gonna feel like a lot. You don't have to pull for it though. You can just push in. Yeah, because I basically rolled it. It was still really smooth though. And then you can go farther and farther as you hit it more. So if you want to hit it, you don't have to go crazy fast, but you need to go fast enough to get over it. That's all you need to do.
And now it's his turn to send it.
It looks much more intimidating from up here because it looks like you're going down a wall and then into the jump. It looks so scary from up here.
Where should I stop braking?
What?
Where should I stop braking?
Stop braking right after that root.
Okay.
It's probably a good spot. Go ahead, you got it. Perfect.
The real Freeride test of any bike is best done on double trouble. This constantly changing trail is full of tightly packed jumps, big booters, shark fins, on-off pads, you name it. With Duthie being my local spot, I'm pretty comfortable riding this trail on both my dirt jumper and trail bike. But how does the Optic handle?
Okay. There we go.
Well, I got through the line first try. That's awesome. Let's try it again, but a little less stiff this time. Well, I certainly am surprised by a bike with such little travel to still handle so well. Let's do a recap of all the tests. For climbing, it didn't feel like the fastest going up Tiger, but gave me much more confidence than I was expecting. I never do this entire climb without walking, and I felt very comfortable and natural aboard the Optic. On the long flow trails, I very much enjoyed how playful the bike was. This was easily the best category for my rankings. On jump trails, the bike had that same sense of playfulness. Though it doesn't have loads of travel, the geometry makes the Optic feel like it adjusts to your travel needs, something that takes some getting used to, but is a very cool feeling. That's all for today, and if you have any questions about the bike, leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.